Paris, city of lights, city of love, but beneath the bustling streets a darker secret sleeps. A labyrinth of tunnels, stretching for miles, holds the remains of millions. The air hangs heavy, thick with the silence of the dead. These are the catacombs, a testament to Paris's past, a chilling reminder of mortality. The catacombs were born of necessity. In the late 18th century, overflowing cemeteries threatened the city's health. The solution? Move the dead underground. Millions of bones were exhumed, transported and arranged in this macabre display. The air grew cold, heavy with the weight of history and the unseen. Today, the catacombs are a popular tourist attraction. Visitors from around the world come to marvel at this ossuary, a city of bones beneath the city of lights. But few know the true darkness that lurks within these tunnels. Few have felt the icy fingers of fear grip their hearts in the pitch black. Emily, a young woman, with eyes as bright as the Parisian stars, knew the catacombs better than most. As a tour guide, she navigated the winding tunnels with ease, her voice echoing through the silence, a beacon in the darkness. She had a deep respect for the history held within these walls, for the millions of souls laid to rest here. Each tour was a delicate dance, illuminating the history, acknowledging the macabre beauty, and maintaining an air of respect for the dead. Emily, with her calm demeanor and unwavering voice, excelled at this. She spoke of the past with reverence, her words painting pictures in the minds of her listeners. But even Emily, brave as she was, couldn't shake the feeling of unease that sometimes crept in. The catacombs held secrets, whispers of something ancient and unknown, and tonight she could feel it. A shift in the air, a prickle of warning on the back of her neck. The group gathered at the entrance, a mix of eager excitement and nervous anticipation in their eyes. Tonight's tour was special, a journey deeper into the catacombs than usual. Emily, lantern held high, led the way down the stone steps, the air growing noticeably colder with each step. The sound of the city above faded, replaced by a heavy silence broken only by the distant drip of water. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of dust and decay. Emily could sense the group's excitement shift, a nervous tension creeping in. She pressed on, her voice steady as she warned them of uneven ground, her lantern casting flickering shadows that danced on the walls. The tunnels narrowed, the ceiling lowering until they were forced to walk single file. Emily could feel their fear, a palpable thing in the close confines. She spoke of the history of the miners who'd carved these tunnels, of the bones that lined their path. But her words seemed to dissipate into the oppressive silence. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The air grew thick, heavy with an unseen presence. Emily, usually so sure-footed, stumbled over the uneven ground. A cold sweat prickled her skin. A low murmur rippled through the group, a wave of unease. They were no longer captivated by the macabre beauty of the catacombs. Fear had replaced their fascination. They huddled closer, their whispers echoing strangely in the confined space. Then they heard it, a sound, faint at first like claws scraping against stone. It seemed to come from the darkness ahead, from the heart of the labyrinth. Emily's blood ran cold. She knew this part of the catacombs. It was unmarked, forbidden. No one was supposed to be down here. The scraping grew louder, closer. It was followed by a low growl, guttural and filled with a hunger that chilled them to the bone. Emily's grip tightened on her lantern, her heart pounding against her ribs. The creature emerged from the darkness like a nightmare given form. Its eyes, glowing with an unnatural light, pierced the gloom. Its skin, stretched taut over a skeletal frame, was pale and clammy. Claws, long and sharp as blades, scraped against the stone floor. A collective gasp escaped the group. Some screamed, their voices echoing through the tunnels. Others stood frozen, paralyzed by fear. The creature, drawn by their terror, let out a deafening roar. It lunged, scattering the group. Emily, adrenaline surging through her veins, reacted instantly. She shoved the tourist closest to her towards the creature, buying herself precious seconds. She turned and ran, her lantern bouncing wildly, casting grotesque shadows that danced around her. Behind her she could hear the screams of the others, the sickening sound of flesh tearing, the creature's triumphant roar echoing through the tunnels. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't dare slow down. The darkness was closing in, the creature's hot breath on her neck. Emily sprinted through the darkness, her lungs burning, legs screaming for rest. The tunnels seemed to stretch endlessly before her, a twisted maze designed to trap her with the monster. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of fear and decay. The creature's heavy footsteps pounded behind her, shaking the very foundation of the tunnels. Its growls reverberated off the walls, each one a promise of a gruesome end. Emily dodged fallen rocks, her heart hammering against her ribs like a drum. The lantern slipped from her grasp, plunging her into absolute darkness. She didn't slow down. Panic fueled her every step. The creature's growls were closer now, its presence a suffocating weight in the darkness. She could smell its rancid breath, feel its heat radiating towards her. It was toying with her, herding her like prey. Emily stumbled, crashing to the ground. Her hands scraped against the rough stone, searching for the lantern, for any source of light. She scrambled back to her feet, a sob escaping her lips. Then she saw it, a faint glow in the distance, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. With renewed determination, she surged forward, her lungs screaming for air. Aftermath. Emily burst from the tunnel entrance, collapsing onto the cold cobblestones. She gasped for air, her body racked with sobs. The cool night air never felt so sweet. Above her, the Parisian sky glittered with indifference, oblivious to the horror she had witnessed below. Police and paramedics swarmed around her, their voices a cacophony of concern. She couldn't speak, couldn't articulate the nightmare she had just escaped. The creature, the screams, the blood. It all replayed in her mind, a gruesome film on repeat. The authorities entered the catacombs, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. They emerged hours later, their faces grim, their silence speaking volumes. The tourists were never found. The creature, whatever it was, had vanished back into the darkness. Emily was hailed as a hero, the lone survivor of a tragedy. But there was no solace in her survival. The guilt gnawed at her, the faces of the tourists forever etched in her memory. The legend of the catacombs. The catacombs were closed to the public indefinitely. The official statement cited structural instability, but rumors spread like wildfire through the city. Whispers of a creature, a denizen of the dark, a guardian of the dead. Some dismissed it as a tragic accident, a case of tourists getting lost and succumbing to the elements. But others, those who knew the catacombs' history, whispered of ancient legends, of creatures born from darkness and death, protectors of the city's underworld. Emily knew the truth. She had seen it with her own eyes. The creature was real. It was a nightmare given form, a horror lurking beneath the surface of their civilized world. And it was still down there, somewhere in the labyrinthine darkness, waiting. The price of curiosity. The catacombs remained closed, a silent monument to the tragedy. The City of Lights had been touched by a darkness it could not comprehend. The whispers continued, the legend of the creature growing with each telling. Emily never recovered from that night. The darkness had seeped into her soul, leaving an indelible mark. She could still hear the screams, smell the stench of fear and decay. The catacombs had taken something from her, something she could never get back. She left Paris seeking solace in the warmth of the sun, the vastness of the sea. But the darkness followed, a shadow lurking at the edge of her vision. The catacombs held a darkness older than time, a hunger that could never be satisfied. And she, the lone survivor, was a living reminder of its power. An unsettled silence. The Paris catacombs stand as a stark reminder of our own mortality. But they are also a testament to the enduring power of fear, of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of the familiar. The city above may bustle with life, but below, in the cold embrace of the earth, a different kind of silence reigns. The creature remains, a whisper in the darkness, a legend whispered in hushed tones. It is a reminder that some places are meant to remain undisturbed, some secrets better left buried. The catacombs hold their secrets close, a silent testament to the price of curiosity and the enduring power of the unknown. The silence is a warning, a promise whispered on the wind. The darkness remembers.